The new Trump administration seems intent upon causing economic disruption at every turn, and now has applied excessive tariffs upon many of its trading partners, including us here in Canada, and then additionally levels threats of annexation, threatening to take us over and saying that Canada should be the 51st state of the United States. I was never intending to get into politics on this station at all. In fact, over the last few years, I was very tempted to get involved because I saw what was happening in the United States and I was following it quite closely and I was very concerned. However, I stayed out of it. But now tides have changed and the United States administration is actually threatening us as a country, threatening us with tariffs, threatening us with annexation. And every day there's a new threat, whether it's to us or some other country. So it seems the US administration is doing its best to make enemies where once it had allies and trying to make friends with its former foes. So it's a very sad situation and sad to see the great United States of America seemingly heading down the drain in that way. And I certainly feel for a lot of people there. And people there need to know that even if as a nation we fight hard with measures against tariffs and maybe imposing our own tariffs and creating boycotts against buying American goods, that's not a slight against the American people. That's a slight against the American administration that is currently there. We're just fighting for our own existence as a unique entity, a unique country and individual country, which we want to maintain. This is not any kind of battle that we wanted. This has been imposed entirely by the current administration, and we're just defending ourselves. We've had a long working relationship, trading relationship with the USA, and it's worked very well over the years, as it has with many other countries that trade with the USA. So this is not a battle per se with the USA, at least as it once was, not long ago, but simply a difference of opinion and difference of going forward with the current administration. So I'm not sure how it's all going to come out, but I'm just here to say that as Canadians, we need to stand together, stand tough, and stand up for our own individual country and rights. I've heard through the grapevine that Canadians are, in a large way, boycotting the United States with purchases, from foods to household items to vacations and all the rest of it. So that's good news if it's true. And I'm just here to encourage others that may not have made the switch yet to do so, because it's important to stand strong on this, stand together. And it's really not that hard to switch over, by and large, to Canadian made or produced products at the grocery store, for example. It may take a little while to adjust, but once you get adjusted, then you'll know the products you are more better to buy, and you'll be familiar with them from week to week after that. Plus, as I understand it, I haven't been around to a lot of different grocery stores to check, but a lot of the stores are actually labeling the Canadian made or Canadian produced products clearly, so you can just pick them out right on the shelves with labels, making the job a whole lot easier. And sometimes they're stashing the US made products down on the bottom, so you have less likelihood of having your eyes fall upon it. So that's a good idea. Anything to bring the Canadian product to the forefront. And for those of you who are living on the border and frequently go across to save money on groceries, all I can say there is I think this is a time to reconsider that approach if you haven't already, and really think about staying home and buying Canadian produce. That's far and away the better choice at this time to do what's right for the country. Yes, this whole episode is probably going to cost us and Americans more, but that's the way that the current administration down there wants it, I guess. Totally illogical. Now, we had been buying a fair amount of Canadian produce already, and then of course we have our big garden in the summer where we produce a lot of our vegetables for the year, but there's always the ones that you need to get later on, or ones you just don't grow in the garden. So things like that, we just try to now make sure we're buying stuff away from America, so the tropics are good, and other countries. And then vacations, we haven't typically been doing a lot of vacationing in the States anyhow, but we actually were planning or hoping to have a trip down to the American Southwest, maybe for 2 or 3 weeks as a driving journey, perhaps this summer. But those plans are on hold now, or canceled, so that's one thing we've taken measure of and adjusted. And whether we go somewhere else instead, I don't know, but that's a decision we've made, despite the fact that is a trip that we really wanted to do, along with several others down there over the next few years. But I guess as long as this bunch stay in the White House, that's probably not going to happen. So this message is one of encouragement, obviously. I can't tell people what to do, and I wouldn't even try to do that. I'm just trying to encourage other Canadians to do the right thing in this situation and try to switch over as much as possible to Canadian-made produce, or produce made and imported from other countries, and avoid the American-made or imported produce. So that way we can have the biggest effect on trying to counter these tariffs that seem to be coming. A few days ago, the president had indicated he was now going to wait 30 days to apply the tariffs that he had just announced out of the blue a week or two ago. And then yesterday he said, oh no, I think I'm going to apply 25% on steel and aluminum to both Mexico and Canada on Monday, which is today, and I don't know if they've been officially applied or not. But so I am aware that a good percentage of my viewers are from the United States, and to them I apologize if this feels like I'm coming down on them in any way, because I'm not. I'm not directing this generally at the people of the United States, just the current administration. Now, obviously, large portions of the population voted for this administration, and I won't get into that, but this really, to me, from my perspective, is just a rallying cry to our own people here in Canada to stand up to the bully and stand strong, do our own little part, each and every one of us, and all those little parts will add up to a big amount, or at least a significant amount that may have impacts that might be able to change people's minds at the top there. So that's all we really need to try and do at this point. That's all we can do as individuals for the most part. Do our bit, let the governments work on behalf of us, and combined with similar pressures from other countries around the world, perhaps they will think twice about being so brazen and applying tariffs on a whim and all this kind of stuff. They have to realize they're in a global population, as much as they don't want to be. I know that administration there wants to be isolationist and or work simply with our former enemies, such as Russia and China and many others that have dictatorships or authoritarians in charge. That's what they seem to be aiming towards, creating this overarching authoritarian dictatorship type atmosphere. So there you have it. I just wanted to express my frustration with the current situation between our two countries, and hopefully things will get better in the near future. I'm not too positive about that, but I'm hoping for that. In the meantime, as Canadians and as individuals, I think we can just continue to put the pressure that we can on, and that's revolving around groceries and things we buy. Try to get them as much as possible made or produced in Canada or of Canada from a food perspective. And then if you're considering vacations, I would encourage you to think about places other than the United States. Go somewhere else if you want to get warm. Just try and do your bit if you can, and then that'll add to the amount of pressure we can apply. Anyhow, that's about all I have to say at this point, and thanks for watching.